There are moments in life when silence becomes the loudest answer. We live in a world that moves fast: messages, meetings, voices, opinions. Every second, someone expects a reply. Every minute, someone reacts. But reacting is not always responding. Sometimes the space between emotion and response is where real wisdom begins. This story is about a young woman named Anna who learned that power does not always come from speed or strength, but from quiet control. It's a story of how she stopped reacting and started living with peace, clarity, and strength. Anna had always been quick with words. She grew up in a busy family, where speaking louder often meant being heard. At school, she answered every question before the teacher finished asking. At work, she typed replies the moment she read an email. It made her efficient, but also anxious. Her friend said she was brave, but Anna knew the truth. She didn't react fast because she was brave. She reacted fast because she was afraid of being misunderstood, of being blamed, of being seen as weak. One Monday morning, she arrived at her office. Rain fell against the window, the sky heavy with clouds. Her coffee was still warm when a coworker sent her a message. "We need your report. It's late again." Anna's chest tightened. Her hands froze over the keyboard. She wanted to defend herself. She wanted to explain. Her heart whispered, "Right back now." But something inside her said, "Wait." Just that one small word. Wait. She looked out of the window. Drops of rain slid down the glass, slowly, patiently. She breathed once, twice, 3 times. Then she opened the document folder. The report was already there, sent last night. Instead of replying with anger, she simply forwarded the file again with a quiet note. "Resent for your reference." 10 minutes later, her co-worker apologized. Anna didn't smile, didn't gloat, didn't react. She just closed her laptop and whispered to herself, "This is what calm feels like." That evening, as she walked home through the rain, Anna started to see a pattern in her life. She remembered her younger years, how often she had reacted without thinking. When someone criticized her, she fought back. When someone was rude, she raised her voice. And every time, she felt tired afterward, empty, like something inside her had been drained. She remembered the time she misunderstood people simply because she replied too fast. The words she used to protect herself sometimes built walls instead of bridges. She realized something important. Reacting is easy, but understanding takes time. And the world rarely gives you that time unless you take it yourself. That night, she wrote in her small notebook, "Today I waited. I didn't react." I think peace is not found in silence. It begins there. A few days later, her boss gave her a new project. It involved a group of people she didn't know well. Among them was a man named Daniel, whose tone was always sharp. He liked control, deadlines, and quick answers. Anna, on the other hand, liked precision and balance. During one meeting, Daniel questioned her design in front of everyone. His voice was calm but cold. "Why did you choose this approach? It's too slow." The old Anna would have defended herself instantly. She would have explained, justified, maybe even raised her voice. But now she did something new. She took a sip of water. She looked at the screen. She said, in a soft but steady tone, "I understand your concern. Let me show you why this method helps in the long term." The room quieted. Even Daniel listened. Anna continued her explanation, calm and factual. When the meeting ended, one of her teammates whispered, "I liked how you handled that. You were peaceful." Peaceful. That word stayed with her. It was not strong, not clever, not fast, just peaceful, and yet it felt stronger than all the others. Change doesn't happen in a single day. Even as Anna practiced calmness, There were moments when her old habits returned. Sometimes, late at night, she still replied to messages too quickly. Sometimes, she argued in her head long after a conversation had ended. One Friday afternoon, after a long and stressful week, an email arrived from a client. It was unfair, blaming her for a delay she didn't cause. The words were sharp, almost cruel. Anna's fingers hovered over the keyboard. She could feel her old self returning, ready to fight, ready to defend. But then she stopped. She stood up, walked to a window, and watched the sunset spill gold over the city. She whispered to herself, "Not everything needs my energy." She closed her laptop and went for a walk. The city was loud, but her mind grew quiet. The anger slowly melted away, replaced by a strange clarity. By the time she returned home, she knew what to write. Her reply was simple. "Thank you for your feedback. I understand your concern. I'll review the timeline and get back to you with a solution on Monday." No blame, no defense, just balance. When she pressed send, she smiled. For the first time, she didn't feel like she had lost a fight. She felt like she had won her peace. Days turned into weeks, and the more Anna practiced patience, the lighter she felt. Her colleagues began to notice. "Anna doesn't panic anymore," someone said. "She always sounds calm," another replied. It wasn't that problems disappeared. It was that her energy no longer disappeared with them. One morning, as she prepared for a presentation, she felt nervous again. Her hands were cold, her heart quickened. But instead of fighting the feeling, she smiled and said quietly, "It's okay to feel. Just don't react to fear." She began her talk slowly, letting each word rest before moving on. Her English was clear, her rhythm natural. When she finished, the room filled with applause. Later, walking home under the autumn sun, Anna understood what had changed. It wasn't her job, her team, or her skills. It was her relationship with herself. She no longer needed to be right all the time. She no longer needed to respond to every noise around her. She had discovered a small truth that felt enormous. Peace is not the absence of noise. It is the ability to stay centered in the middle of it. That evening, Anna sat by the window, a cup of tea in her hand. The world outside was quiet. She thought about all the years she had spent trying to win arguments, to prove herself, to be faster than everyone else. And she smiled because she finally understood that the best answers often come from stillness. She opened her notebook again and wrote, "When I react, I give away my power. When I wait, I return to myself." Her handwriting was soft and even, like her breathing. The page looked peaceful, just like her mind. She realized that not reacting was not just about holding back words. It was about choosing understanding over judgment, clarity over confusion, and kindness over ego. And that choice was something she could make every day, in meetings, in conversations, in life. Over the next months, people began to come to Anna for advice. They said, "You always seem calm. How do you do it?" She would smile and say, "I breathe before I speak." Sometimes she shared her small method. Before replying to anything, she asked herself 3 questions. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If her answer was no, she waited. At first, it was just a technique. But slowly, it became a way of living. Her voice grew softer, but her words carried more weight. Her pauses, once filled with anxiety, now carried intention. And people started to listen more deeply. Even Daniel, the strict co-worker, once said, "When you speak, everyone listens. You have a kind of quiet authority." Anna smiled. It was the nicest compliment she had ever received. The day came when her company organized a large meeting. Anna was asked to speak on communication and teamwork. She stood at the front of the room, looking at faces filled with curiosity. She began softly. Most of us believe communication means talking. But the truth is, good communication begins when we stop reacting, when we listen first and speak later. She shared her own journey, not with pride, but with honesty, how she once lived in constant defense, and how learning to pause changed everything. By the end of her speech, the room was silent, not out of boredom, but out of reflection. People were thinking, feeling, and that, she realized, was real communication. As she stepped down from the stage, applause filled the hall. It was gentle, respectful, warm. For the first time, Anna didn't think about how she sounded or whether her grammar was perfect. She just felt grateful to herself for waiting long enough to hear her own heart. Sometimes the world rewards noise, but peace, real peace, comes to those who can wait before they speak. Anna's story reminds us that not reacting is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the art of giving yourself time to choose peace over pride, clarity over confusion, and understanding over anger. Every day, life gives us hundreds of chances to react. You can shout, you can argue, or you can take one breath and remember, not reacting is not losing. It's choosing yourself. So next time your heart beats fast and your thoughts run wild, pause. Take a breath. Let silence do the talking. Because sometimes silence is not the absence of words. It is the presence of understanding. Thank you for listening to this story. If it touched you, please take a moment to subscribe, and share it with someone who might need calm today. Your support helps this channel grow and helps more learners find English that feels real, emotional, and human.